I am bound to you.
I met Tutu sometimes and several times when he left Trondheim, he came late Friday night and he left early Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And he flew directly from South Africa to Trondheim and back to South Africa. One way to visit ISFiT and to meet the ISFiT participants. I have to say he is just as charming and inspiring and positive behind stage as he is on stage.
Wonderful. I mean, look at the welcome. But now...
Yes, you're tired.
A little tired?
No, the students are very nice. Hello. How are you? God bless you.
Desmond Tutu as a kickoff was awesome because his message is quite simple.
Welcome everyone to the Grand Hall of the Student Society. In this first plenary session of ISFiT 2009, we will explore the African Ubuntu philosophy. We affirm our humanity when we recognize that of others. Togetherness, belonging, empathy. Not only is Ubuntu a personal philosophy, it is also seen as one of the founding principles of the new Republic of South Africa. The man I'm about to introduce is not a giant in terms of height, but a giant in terms of his fight for human rights. Born in South Africa in 1931, he started his career as a teacher, continuing his studies in theology after having resigned in protest of the poor educational prospects for Black South Africans. He was vocal in his work against apartheid, advocating nonviolent demonstrations and protests. He was elected and ordained the first Black South African Anglican Archbishop of Cape Town in 1984, and the same year he received the Nobel Peace Prize. Dear audience, the man who rose to worldwide fame during the 1980s as an opponent of apartheid is here tonight, waiting to speak for ISFiT 2009. Please welcome Archbishop Desmond Tutu.
The media are not really fair. The media concentrate on bad stories, and they like telling us the stories of young people who go wrong. Well, I say we ought not to be surprised that some young people go wrong. What we should be most surprised about is that not more young people go wrong. You know, when I was growing up, the only drug that was available was marijuana. Today, you have hard drugs, I mean, really awful drugs on the market, and you have unscrupulous people pushing them. Just imagine. We didn't have something called the internet. Now, I don't know, but I'm told in the internet, the things you can get, woo. Woo, 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 woo. I've not seen them, but and look at the advertising, the pressure that our young people get, forcing them to think that if you really want to be with it, then you must have such a car. The pressure is so great for people to be materialistic. Isn't it extraordinary that today, and you media, if you are here, you are here? Those who are in the media, you must show your hand, raise your hand. You should tell the stories of the young people who leave their homes, going to work as volunteers in poverty-stricken countries. They needn't do that. Now, I just want to say before you're wondering when I am actually going to start on talking about Ubuntu. Yes. But I just want to say to you, dream, be idealistic, dream about the better world that our world can become. Dream God's dream. Dream that one day, in fact, there will be no poverty in our world. Dream God's dream that one day there won't be any war. Dream, and don't allow us oldies to infect you with our cynicism. We human beings can be fantastic things. Our world could be a world, we could have every country be a country where there is no one who goes to bed hungry. Every country we would have. All right, now let me start to speak about my subject. None of us could come into the world unless two people had come together. So a solitary human being is a contradiction. None of us comes into the world fully formed. I wouldn't know how to speak as a human being. I wouldn't know how to walk as a human being. I wouldn't know how to think as a human being. I wouldn't know how to be a human being except through learning from other human beings. I need other human beings if I am going to be human. That is really Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the essence of being human. I have gifts that you do not have, and you have gifts that I don't have, and God says, yeah. That's exactly how I wanted to create you. Because if you are a totally self-sufficient human being, you are subhuman. You make up what is lacking in me, and I make up what is lacking in you. And the most successful nation is the one where, you have these people doing that, and the others doing this, doing that, and doing the other. That's a lesson God has been trying to teach us. And we refuse to learn it. God says, if you keep having these carbon emissions because you've got all of these motor cars and you don't care about carbon emissions, watch it. One day, you are going to discover that what you do here has repercussions for people over there. Climate change. And God says, my dear children, when are you going to learn this lesson that I'm trying to teach you? You are family. You are connected. You are connected. When something happens here and you try to pretend it doesn't affect you, it will affect you. Please remember, you are family. Now, you know, in a good family, in a healthy family, you don't say, baby, baby, baby. You are contributing nothing to the family budget. Sorry, baby, but you can get only in proportion to what you contribute. Baby contributes nothing. Sometimes bad smells, but just look at the love that is showered on the baby. Now God has given us another lesson. The economic turn down. The whole world, I mean, I can't understand it. One day, they've got so much money. The next day, there's nothing. And then the next day, they've got some more billions. America is producing now 700 and something billion. I can't even count it. I don't know what it is like. Where does it come from? And where has the other money gone to? You know, what has happened is that we have said the worst thing to happen is to fail. And so people will work and do all kinds of things in order to succeed. And they break the law. They are looking just for themselves, and God says, In the good family, they don't say to Granny, sorry, you are doing nothing actually, Granny. I mean, what are you doing? You just wake up in the morning and you sit in the sun, and then you go back to bed and you grumble and you... No. In the good family, there is compassion, especially for the weak ones, for the vulnerable ones. And that is the ethic God is saying, for goodness sake, please. Otherwise, our world is going to be destroyed. Ubuntu says, when somebody has done something wrong, you don't rush to punish, which is called retributive justice. When somebody has done something wrong, the relationship has been disturbed, and you need to heal the relationship. And it is called restorative justice. Have you seen what happens in the Middle East? The Palestinians, because they feel that their dignity as human beings has been undermined, each one of us, has that thing, that sense that I am somebody, and I'm not going to be treated as if I'm a thing. And even if I am impotent, I am going to do something to show that I am a human being. And so you have the suicide bomber. The suicide bomber goes and does his awful thing. And as sure as anything, you know the Israelis are going to retaliate. And you know, as sure as anything, that there's going to be another suicide bomber. And it just goes on, and there is no hope for them. That is why we say, no future without forgiveness. Ubuntu says, I am bound to you. Until we recognize that we are family, we are doomed.
Rania Zaban is my name, and I'm from occupied Palestine. You mentioned Gaza a couple of times in your speech, and as we all know, the aggression on Gaza haven't ended yet, as the siege is still ongoing. In the West Bank, there's a different kind of apartheid. What do you think Palestinians should expect from the world? Where are we heading? Thank you.
We've been trying to tell people that our experience in South Africa was you don't get security from the barrel of a gun. They tried that in South Africa and they failed. You will get true security when the human rights of all are respected and upheld. Imagine if the picture had been turned around, if the casualties, over 1,000 people were killed, most of them were civilians, and 300 children. Now, if that had happened in Israel, what was going to be the reaction of the West? I'm sad. The world is not going to see peace until that particular problem is resolved.
So, in the concept of Ubuntu, what does freedom mean? Talking from the point of view of an individual, is the individual somewhere a blur in the background? Or does he have the freedom to do something? Or is it always the collective? So, what is the...
It is a very good question. We are not like Westerners. You know, Westerners emphasize individuality, and that is important. You see, the thing about complementarity, Westerners emphasize the individual person, and they tend actually to forget the community. Now, we emphasize the community, but yes, you have freedom. The individual has the capacity, otherwise you would not have leaders. See, when you come to me and you ask me, how are you? In our culture, you don't ask me in the singular. You say, how are you in the plural? And when I'm answering, I answer in the plural. I will say, well, we are well, because we are all well at home. And I can say, no, we are not well. I'm quite well, you know, but my mother-in-law is sick. So we say, we are not well. Her unwellness affects my wellness. I am not as well as I would have been if she was well. Okay?
When he left, he had told me and the other ISFiT volunteers that were there to keep up the good work, and he was really inspired after being here, and I think he went home with some positive experience from ISFiT as well.